getting anything. Thank you, my Lord. I just want to, before we proceed with the business of the day, I just want to place on record.
No, but you don't want to just first mention the matter.
My apologies, my Lord. So I'm calling the matter of SS 98 of 2025, the State versus Kekana and 4 others. My Lord, before we proceed with the witness, I just want to raise a concern that the State has, and maybe the media can just be more vigilant with this. Because we became aware of a photo that was published in the Sunday World yesterday of a witness, and I accept the fact that it was not intended, but that it was actually focused on accused number 4, the photo, but then the witness was in the background. I'm not going to name the witness, but I would ask then that the court just make the media again aware that even a non-intentional infringement of a visual of a witness is considered to be a serious contravention of the order that the court made, as the court pleases. I would also ask the Sunday World to remove that photo.
Is there anyone here from the Sunday World? No. Right. Thank you, Ms. Little. The court has noted your concern. It would appear, I think, members of the media were clear yesterday that they were not going to take visuals. So I would understand from the submissions you've made that in the course of them perhaps maybe taking a photograph of accused number 4, the state witness came into the frame.
Yes.
But I have heard your concerns and I've listened carefully to them, and accordingly the members of the media once again are please implored just to make sure that you don't take any photographs of the witness, even inadvertently, and whoever is here, whoever can convey it to the responsible person at Sunday World, it would be highly appreciated if you can please just take down that particular photograph from the public domain. Good. Is there anything else, Ms. Little?
That's it. Thank you, my Lord. My Lord, as indicated yesterday, I will proceed with this witness on the merits, and once we reach the point where I would consider it an appropriate time, I will interrupt the witness, and then I will address the court with regard to the trial within the trial that will follow.
No problem. Thank you so much. The witness may rise. Mr. Shepherd?
Morning, my lord.
Morning. Do you confirm that you remember yesterday you took the prescribed oath to speak the truth? Do you confirm that you will continue speaking the truth in terms of the oath that you took yesterday?
Yes, my lord.
Excellent. And you remember the explanation that the court gave to you yesterday?
Yes, my lord.
Yeah, just to indicate that you must please just speak in a loud tone of voice, okay?
Okay.
Because the people at the back, the rear of the gallery want to hear exactly what you have to say.
Okay, my lord.
Good.
I'll try my best.
No problem. Are you comfortable?
Yes, my lord.
Do we have your permission to continue?
Yes, my lord.
Would you like to take a seat during the course of your testimony?
If possible, my lord, but I'll start standing.
You sure?
Yes.
But if you want to take a seat, you're more than welcome to.
Thank you.
Good. Well, at any point in time, during the course of your evidence, if you want to take a seat, you're more than welcome to. You don't need to seek the permission of this court, okay?
Thank you, my lord.
Good. Excellent. Thank you, Ms. Little.
Thank you, my
The
Lord.
witness is properly sworn in. You may continue.
Mr. Shepherd, in April 2024, and what is still the position, you were attached to CAP Security as a member of their Special Operations Team. Is that correct, sir?
That's correct, ma'am.
In that capacity, you were on duty that morning of the 17th of April 2024, am I correct?
That's correct, ma'am.
It's the 17th of April when? 2020?
4, my Lord. I want you to tell in your own words what happened around 7 o'clock that morning and your actions that followed, which gave rise now to your evidence here today in court. Slowly, please keep up with the pace of the court.
Roughly after 7 o'clock on that Wednesday morning, I was contacted by Captain Silobela. A member of the South African Police stationed at Gauteng TRT. Captain Silobela gave me lookouts for 2 vehicles. That were involved in the murder, that were possibly involved in a murder in the Vereniging area. The first vehicle was a white Hyundai i20. With the registration number Foxtrot November 42 Mike Charlie Golf Papa.
Yes?
The second vehicle was a silver Mercedes Benz, unknown registration.
Where did you find yourself at that stage when you received this information?
In the Gauteng Norwood area.
Were you in a security vehicle?
Yes, ma'am, an unmarked company vehicle.
What did you then do with this information?
I wrote it down and awaited further communication from Captain Silobela.
Yes?
Captain Silobela did contact me yet again and gave me an address of, a possible address where these 2 suspicious vehicles or these vehicles that were involved in the murder would be going to.
Yes?
The address was number 34, 5th Avenue, in the Q Bramley area.
Yes?
I then proceeded to the above mentioned address to see if I could notice any of the vehicles Captain Sigubela contacted me with regards to. When I arrived at the property, I was not able to notice the silver Mercedes or the Hyundai i20 Captain Sigubela spoke about.
Let me ask you this way. Were these vehicles there at the time?
No, ma'am.
Yes.
I did, however, see a white Mercedes Viano parked in number 34 5th Street, 5th Avenue. With registration Kilo 16 Tango Bravo. Golf Papa.
Can you describe to the court what was the position of this white Mercedes Viano?
The vehicle was parked halfway up the driveway, to the left of the driveway on a patch of grass.
Yes.
I informed Captain Sigubela, who instructed me to continue observation of the property.
Yes.
I made a U-turn and I found a parking space at an apartment building in the same street.
Yes. So how were you parked there?
I reverse parked on, they got parking on the pavement, so I reverse parked my vehicle in order to have a
This parking that you're talking about, is there, is it directly next to the street?
Yes, ma'am. It's on the basically the pavement of the. It's a pavement parking.
How far was this spot where you were parked from this address that you just drove past?
Approximately 150, 160 meters, ma'am.
And was this parking space still in the 5th Avenue? Is that it?
Yes, ma'am.
You may continue.
The reason I chose that parking is it gave me an unobstructed view of the property and of 2nd Avenue.
Yes.
I continued with observation.
So, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I just want to get an indication of, you say that it was shortly after 7 o'clock when you received your first contact from Captain Sibanyoni, and then now you've described what happened after that. So, what time lapse, what was the time lapse up to the point where you actually then parked?
I'd say approximately an hour, 15 or 20 minutes, man.
So, you were parked now?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Yes.
At approximately 8:35, I noticed a white Hyundai i20 matching the description that Captain Sibanyoni gave. The vehicle turned left off of 2nd Avenue and was driving towards me.
So I just want you to orientate us from where you were parked. Was the property then on your right hand?
That's correct, ma'am. The
Right.
property was to my right and the vehicle was coming from my left-hand side.
From 2nd Avenue?
Yes, ma'am.
Just take us again in detail through your observations as the vehicle was approaching. Observations meaning, what did you see with regard to how the car looked and the occupants of the car?
As the vehicle came closer, I could confirm the registration was a match of the exact match of the registration mentioned by Captain Sibanyoni.
Yes.
With 2 male occupants inside the vehicle. The driver was wearing a long sleeve mustard shirt. And he had a muscular facial, if I can describe his face, it was a bit muscular. The passenger, the left front passenger, was wearing a grey long sleeve jersey. With a white collar sticking out at the top. He had sunglasses on with a black beanie. vehicle entered at number 34 5th. At that point I lost eyes on the vehicle. I didn't have any visual observation anymore.
Just a moment there. From your initial observation of this premises, was the premises fenced? Was there a motor gate or something? Can you just describe that?
It had like a precast wall, and the gate was just metal bars, so you could see through the gate.
And
Sorry ma'am, there was an additional gate further up the driveway.
yes. Could you see from where you were sitting, how did they manage to enter the premises? In other words, did they get out and open the gate? Or what was your observation?
No ma'am, I couldn't
You couldn't see.
see that.
If you say you couldn't see that, they never got out to open the gate as such.
No ma'am, not that I could see. The reason why I didn't have the gate is a bit further where the perimeter wall is. It's a bit tucked in, so you have to go in a bit. Then that obstructed my
Yes.
visibility.
All right. So now you lost sight of the motor vehicle. It disappeared into this premises.
Yes ma'am. I then contacted Captain Sigubela and informed him that the vehicle he mentioned arrived at the property.
How did you and Captain Sigubela communicate with each other?
Telephonically ma'am.
Cell phone.
Yes ma'am.
Yes.
He informed me I must continue with the observation. He's dispatching additional members to the area.
Yes.
I continued with my observation of the property. Moments later, I noticed the Mercedes Viano exiting the property.
Is that now the same vehicle that you referred to
Yes, ma'am.
earlier with the KK
Yes, ma'am.
registration?
KK16. As the vehicle exited the property, I could see that the driver of the Hyundai i20 was the same driver of the Viano.
Why would you say that?
Because the Viano's driver's side window was open and I could see the mustard colored shirt, man. the vehicle drove towards me. As the vehicle got closer, I could see that the passenger in the vehicle is the same as matches the description, you know, the clothing description of the person I saw. I identified in the I-20.
The same passenger.
Same passenger, ma'am.
Were there any change in their clothing, appearance?
No, ma'am. They were, when they arrived, they were relaxed, and when they left the house, they were relaxed, ma'am.
So, did they, in other words, again, come from your right-hand side and then drove past you?
Yes, ma'am.
What did you then do?
I informed Captain Sibanyoni that the vehicle's moving, and that I'm going to follow them until him and the team can arrive.
Yes.
I started following the Mercedes Viano until 2nd Avenue, where the vehicle turned left. While on 2nd Avenue, we continued towards the intersection of Collet and 2nd, where the vehicle turned right.
Yes.
We were driving on Collet, and the Mercedes took the first left. I believe it's New Road. Yeah, I think New Road. I believe it's New Road, yeah.
Left in New Road.
Yes, ma'am. It was the first left from Collet.
Yes.
We continued on New Road until 8th Road, where the vehicle turned right. While on 8th, I noticed the vehicle make a U-turn in front, at about a short distance in front of me. The vehicle made a U-turn and parked in front of a property. I pulled off and continued with observation.
So which side of the vehicle did you then see?
At the front of the vehicle, ma'am.
Yes.
The vehicle was when it made a U-turn, it parked in front of the property, oncoming traffic direct, on that side.
And what would you say was the distance from your stationary position to the point where the motor vehicle was parked in front of that property?
I'd say 60 meters around.
What was the traffic like in that street in 8th Avenue?
No, it's quiet, ma'am. As the bottom of 8th Street, it's an enclosed area, so there's not a lot of through traffic.
Were there any vehicles at all?
Ma'am, there was one vehicle that passed us the entire time I was there, busy with observation.
So it was a quiet street.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Shortly after the vehicle came to a standstill in front of the property, I saw a gentleman exit the property. He was wearing denim, like a denim overall with reflective stripes on. He was approaching the Mercedes Viano, and he was carrying a mag of a vehicle in his hands.
A Magnum.
Yes, my lord.
Yes.
At that stage, Captain Siglobella and his members arrived. I could see the occupants of the Mercedes and the gentleman with the Magnum were having a conversation. At that stage, SABC arrived.
I want to take you a few steps back to the point where you were parked in 5th Avenue and you observed first the I-20 and then later the white, let's call it a V-Class. I think to exclude any confusion, a V-Class Mercedes-Benz. It was like a minibus shape, is that correct? Right, so firstly, can you tell the court when the I-20 came past you and you made this observation with regard to the occupants and etc. Just describe to the court what would you say was the distance from where you were seated to where you could make the observation of the occupants the moment that they passed you?
The furthest distance would be about 7 meters. The passenger of the Hyundai I-20 was approximately 7 meters away from me.
That is now, in other words, there was there then a lane between you
Yes,
and the vehicle?
Yes, ma'am.
Right, so, and later on, like you say, moments later, when the V-Class came past you again, now in the lane closest to you,
Yes, ma'am.
what would you say was that distance?
The driver was approximately 3 meters from where I was seated.
Right. I would like to refer you now, my lord, I'm going to refer now to that selection that I informed the court of yesterday. So, Mr. Gissing is already in possession of a copy. I made extra copies. So if I can just have the assistance of a court orderly, please. Before we proceed now to the photo album, there's two more aspects. So you were now parked at this apartment building. Can you just tell the court, with the premises to your right, on which side of the street was that premises? Was it on the opposite side?
On the opposite side of
On the opposite
where
side.
I was parked, ma'am.
And then, when you make your observation of the I-20 when it passed you, could you see what was the position of the windows of the motor vehicle, drivers and passengers? Can you remember that?
Yes, ma'am. Both windows were open, and the occupants were relaxed and having a conversation.
You already mentioned that the driver's side of the V-Class was open because you could see the arm with the mustard-colored top sleeve of the driver. But what about the passenger when they passed you? Was the V-Class passenger window open or not?
No, ma'am. It was also lightly tinted, but the rear windows were darkly tinted. But I noticed the passenger's description through the windshield, the windscreen.
The windscreen, which was not
No,
tinted.
ma'am.
From the point where you started following the Mercedes-Benz V-Class, from that point up to the point where you saw it parked in front of that property, did you ever lose sight of this motor vehicle?
No, ma'am.
Thank you. Now we can proceed to the photo album, and I'm going to
Sorry, Mr.
also...
Leroux, can I just ask you, should the accused have a copy of the photographs?
Well, they don't have. I've made 8 copies. Maybe counsel can share with their clients.
But I think it may be important for them to also follow what's going on in the photographs so that they can instruct their counsel properly as well.
I'll make my copy available to the accused.
Thank you so much, Mr. Well, unless, Mr. Leroux, you believe it may be better you just flight that picture on the screen, then they can see it.
I will do that, my lord. So, Mr. Shepherd, I want you can turn over the cover, and then you can have a look at the first two photos, 25 and 26. I actually want you to have regard to, let's work with these, the selection of photos up to photo number 33. In other words, we're working now with 25 to up to 33. What can you say about that group of photos?
These are pictures of the V class that I was following from, that exited at number 34 fifth. If you look at picture 27, there's the magnum that I was talking about, man, that the gentleman came out of the property with.
And what can you say about the position of this motor vehicle? Let's go back to the first photo. If you go to photo number 25, what would you say about the position there?
That's where the occupants parked the vehicle in front of that property, man.
Now we can proceed to the next group of photos. So that starts at 92 and it runs up to photo number 205.
Picture 192 is a picture of the property 34 Fifth Avenue, man. And can you see how I explained earlier the precast prevention from seeing how the gates get open, man?
Yes. So just describe to the court what do you see there on photo 192, your observations.
So where the bakkie was parked, the bakkie is parked in 192. The Viana was almost parked at the exact same in alignment with it, but to the left on the grass.
And which side of the V-Class did you observe when you first saw it there parked in that spot?
The rear of the V-Class, man.
And is it correct, so if you look there, you can actually see the number 34 painted on the right side of the...
That's correct, man.
Now, what do you say about the next group of photos, 199?
Unfortunately, the vehicle in the photo might possibly be the Hyundai i20, but I can't see the registration plate now.
Okay, go on to the next photo.
Yes, that's the i20 that I observed entering the property, man.
maybe just for record purposes, can you just read that registration plate into the record, please?
Foxtrot November 42 Mike Charlie Golf Papa.
Thank you. Now the last few pictures, 4 pictures from number 378.
This is the shirt the driver was wearing of the Hyundai i20 and of the Viano, man.
And lastly, I just want to take you back to the B-class. Can you just read that registration plate into the record on photo 29?
It will be Kilo 16 Tango Bravo Golf Papa.
My Lord, I would ask then that this exhibit be allowed. I'm going to call, obviously, Warrant Officer Mohale who took these photos, but I think it's been adequately identified and it is admissible. So I would accordingly request the court to mark it as Exhibit F. F for Foxtrot.
Yes. The photograph album is accepted as a record as Exhibit F, as there was agreement yesterday between counsel for the state and the defense regarding the veracity of this document. Accordingly, the photograph album of Bramley 17 April 2024 is accepted as the record and marked Exhibit F for fast.
Court, please.
As a court, please, my Lord.
Ms. Leroux, are you intend to move on to another aspect?
Yes, my Lord. I'm going to move on to the aspect of the trial within the trial now.
Can we perhaps then take the long adjournment at this stage as it's closer to
Yes.
the long adjournment? And then when we do return, we can deal with that aspect.
As a court, please.
Good. Mr. Shepherd, we're going to take a long adjournment at this stage, and we shall return again at 1400 hours. At 1400 hours. The accused may rise, thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to take the long adjournment. The matter is going to then stand down now at 1 o'clock until 1400 hours for continuation of the evidence of Mr. C.F. Shepherd. Accused number 1, 2, and 3, gentlemen, you are in custody. You shall remain in custody until then. Accused number 4 and 5, you are on bail. Your bail is extended until the return. Thank you so much. See you after the jury. Thank you, counsel. The court is going to take the long adjournment.
Thank you, my lord. After the lunch break, the witness is still under oath. And, my lord, I can address the court now with regard to the trial within a trial, which I will request the court now to follow or to conduct.
Just bear with me for a moment, please. Thank you. Yes, you were saying?
My lord, I was informed by counsel for accused number 1 on a prior occasion that the evidence that I am about to present now is in dispute. With specific reference to the admissibility of the evidence. And that, my lord, is specifically with regard to the arrest the search and seizure of items that followed, and any utterances made by their client, accused number 1. My lord, the state will rely, and this will be the state's case in the trial within the trial, firstly, with the prescripts in section 22 of the Criminal Procedure Act, that is the search and seizure without a search warrant. So it will be the state's case that not only did accused number 1 agreed to, and he was cooperative during this whole process, he agreed to the search and seizure taking place.
Anything else?
He agreed to that, but apart from that, my lord, even if the court would find to the contrary, that there was no agreement between the accused and the police, that the 2 other legs that section 22 stands on, in other words, urgency, and the fact that the police had a reasonable belief that they would have been granted a search and seizure warrant in any event, that all those prescripts is complied with in terms of section 22. If I further understand my learned friend correctly, he also objects to the arrest without a search warrant. Without an arrest warrant. And in this regard, my lord, the state will rely on section 41B. Brackets 1, bracket B. Further, my lord, the state will also rely on section 218 and 219 capital A, and will submit that the prescripts of these two sections were also complied with. So the evidence that the state has in its possession with regard to accused number 1 is that not only did he cooperate with the police and what followed after that, but he never made any confessions. So we only rely on 219 capital A, which we will submit was an admission made voluntarily by accused number 1. But it goes further than that, my lord. The evidence in this trial within a trial will show that the police were in any event in possession of the information as already on record. They were already in possession of the information with regard to the I-20 with the registration number, and they were already in possession of the address where this I-20 was eventually found. So this was information the police already had. They in actual fact did not need accused number 1's assistance. They would have discovered this in any event. So those are the submissions that I can make to your lordship, and I invite my learned friend to confirm or deny what I've said, that I placed on record.
Mr. Shepherd, would you like to take a seat while we deal with this aspect? Thank you. Mr. Khasing, sir?
Apologies. Is it appropriate that the witness is present?
Yeah,
whilst
I think
having
we
this
should rather
discussion?
just, during the discussion, let's excuse him.
I think so.
Mr. Shepherd, we have this discussion relating to an interlocutory matter, and so as not to have any possibility of the record being tainted, would you perhaps maybe just be kind enough to wait outside, and at the moment we're ready, we'll call you.
Certainly.
Thank you.
Thank you, my lord.
Thank you, Mr. Khasing.
Thank you, my lord. I have it for your lordship in writing, the grounds of accused number 1 opposing the admissibility of the evidence the state intends to adduce. May I hand it up? It's also signed by accused number 1. May I proceed reading same into the record?
Just give me one moment, please. Thank you. Thank you. Mr. Ru, do you have a copy of this?
We do have a copy.
You have. Thank you. Thank you. Yes.
Thank you. Formal grounds of opposing admissibility of evidence the state intends to adduce. Paragraph 1. I, Musa Kekana, confirm that I'm cited as accused number 1 in the proceedings. I confirm that my legal representatives explained to me that the state intends to adduce evidence pertaining to information and evidential material allegedly collected during and or as a result of my arrest on the 17th of April 2024. Subsequent search and seizure, tests and or analysis of items seized during the search and seizure and or subsequent information downloaded from such items seized during the search and seizure and the resulted investigations conducted. Paragraph 3. My legal representatives meticulously advised me of my applicable constitutional rights in terms of the Constitution, 108 of 1996, the relevant and applicable provisions contained in the Criminal Procedure Act, bracket CPA, close bracket, 51 of 1977, as well as the relevant and applicable provisions in terms of the Cybercrimes Act, bracket C, capital CCA, close bracket, 19 of 2020. Paragraph 4. I herewith list my objections against the admissibility of the evidence obtained and as referred to supra. Point 1. My arrest was effected in contravention of section 40 of the CPA. Point 2. My rights in terms of the Constitution and the CPA were not explained to me prior and or during my arrest, prior and or during the subsequent search and seizures in terms of the CPA as well as the CCA. Point 3. Any utterances and or information the state might allege to have made by me and or obtained from me are contested and more particularly contended to be in contravention of section 217, 218, 219 and 219 capital A of the CPA. Point 4. The subsequent search and seizures were conducted without the valid search warrant having been authorized and issued pursuant to the legislative requirements. Point 5. The searches were conducted in contravention of sections 20, 21 and 22 of the Criminal Procedure Act, the CPA. Point 6. No valid search warrant in respect or in terms of section 29 of the Cybercrimes Act was obtained. Point 7. The provisions of the CCA were not complied with during the downloading process. Point 8. The search was conducted in violation of section 14 of the Constitution of the Republic of South Africa. Point 9. It is respectfully submitted that the admission of the evidence so obtained will render my trial unfair and will be detrimental to the administration of justice. 10. It is thus contended that the Honourable Court should rule the evidence so obtained inadmissible. Paragraph 5. I respectfully reserve the right to supplement and or to amend the grounds on which I am opposed to the admissibility of the evidence the state intends to adduce and referred to supra. It was signed here at Johannesburg by accused number 1. If accused number 1 admits the contents of the document, I'll respectfully request your Lordship to accept it as an exhibit.
Can I just ask you, just to date? on
Yes,
this- on this
I omitted.
date? Yeah, just put
My
the date.
apologies for that.
No problem at all. Good. I see you. Well, firstly, I should say thank you very much for setting it out in writing, so that there's no ambiguity on the part of any party. Thank you so much.
Thank you, my Lord.
You can just get him to date it, and then you can confirm it.
Thank you.
You can approach the client.
May I have the document in your possession, my Lord?
Thank you. Yes, you may.
Court pleases. Thank you, my Lord.
Thank you so much. I suppose you've given it an exhibit. You want it to be an exhibit. Shall we just
Yes.
give it a number?
It would be exhibit
G.
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 Yes.
Is that fine? Thank you. The formal grounds of opposition regarding the admissibility of evidence the state intends to adduce, as set out by accused number 1, Mr. Musa Kekana, duly signed and dated today, the 24th day of July 2026, are accepted onto the record as Exhibit G. Thank you. Ms. Lulu, I suppose now that you've got the position of accused number 1, is there anything else that you'd like to say?
My Lord, no. I was made aware of this document beforehand, so
Good. Just give me a moment. This is case number SS 98/2025 in the matter between the state and Musa Kekana et al. During the evidence of the second state witness, Mr. Christian Shepherd, the counsel for the state, Ms. Leroux, having previously informed this court, has alerted this court to the fact that she now intends leading evidence of the nature which would, whose admissibility would be in question. I do not intend setting out the grounds as set out by counsel for the state. They are on record, but safe to say that the application by counsel for the state to lead this evidence is opposed by accused number 1, and to that extent, Mr. Hissing and Mr. Strauss, who appear on behalf of accused number 1, have very kindly deemed it appropriate in the circumstances to set out their objection to the admission of this evidence in the ordinary course of business in writing, and which has been succinctly captured in Exhibit G. The court once again does not deem it necessary for it to repeat the contents of this particular document, for Mr. Hissing very kindly has read it onto the record. But at the end of the day, the court is now faced, on the one hand, of two opposing intentions before this court. The one being that the state intends leading this evidence, and 2, there's an opposition thereto. And the only way that the court can make a proper determination in the circumstances is what we would have to now exit the main trial and go into what we call a trial within a trial, which is an interlocutory application. So essentially what happens is that the evidence in the main trial is parked for the time being. We come out of that evidence, we go into another smaller section in the trial, which is called a trial within a trial. The court will then hear the evidence that is going to be presented for and against the admission of this evidence. And once all the evidence is led, the court will then make a determination relating to the admissibility of such evidence. And upon that, and depending upon what the outcome of that interlocutory process will be, we will then move back again into the main trial within the trial. But accordingly, the ruling of this court is that a trial within the trial is to be held in order to determine the admissibility of the aspects which counsel for the state has indicated, which he intends leading there upon the evidence. Thank you so much.
As the court pleases.
as the court pleases, my Lord, I then ask that Mr. Shepherd be called back to the
Thank
witness
you.
stand. Can the court orderlies just assist us in calling the witness, please? Thank you.
Ms. Leroux, I'm going to now proceed on the basis that we now are in the interlocutory part of this trial, which is the trial within the trial. And I'm then going to make a note that Mr. Christian Frederick Shepard is the first witness in the trial within the trial. Am I correct?
As the court pleases, my lord.
Mr. Christian, are we on the same page?
Yes, thank you, my lord.
Thank you most kindly.
Mr.
Just bear
Shepard,
with me for one moment.
I'm sorry, my lord. Yes, he has to be sworn in again.
Mr. Shepard, you remember you gave evidence this morning relating to your involvement up until the time that the police, members of the South African Police Services came onto the scene.
Yes, my lord.
The next part of the evidence that the state intends leading is relating to the admissibility of the evidence which the state intends to lead, that is regarding to the arrest, the search and seizure and other aspects. So in the ordinary course of business, the state wants to lead that evidence, but the admission of that evidence is being disputed by accused number one. That the court has found that it must then go into an interlocutory part of the trial, where it is called a trial within the trial in order for the court to determine the admissibility. So we've now come out of the main trial, we've now gone into another compartment, okay?
Yes, my lord.
And we're going to deal then with that part of the evidence, because the court will then have to then make a pronouncement on the admissibility of the evidence, and based upon that, then the matter will proceed further.
Understood, my lord.
Good. So you did step out of court for a few moments, so just for purposes of good order, I wish to just want you to confirm if you do you still confirm that you are under your former oath to speak the truth.
Yes, my lord.
And you do understand now we are dealing purely with a different aspect where the state is going to lead you on, right?
Yes, my lord.
Good. You also once again invited, if you so desire, to take a seat.
Understood, my lord. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you, Ms. Leroux. We may proceed with the trial within the trial.
Thank you, my lord. Mr. Shepard, I want to take you now to the point where you were observing the piano in 8th Avenue. You indicated previously it was at a distance of about 50 to...
Sorry, Ms. Leroux, can I just interject for a moment? By any chance, do you have any witnesses on either side who could be seated in court during the part of this evidence? Or
I doubt it strongly, my
just
lord.
double check, please, on both sides in the event that anybody is going to be called.
No, my lord. There's no witnesses except for the investigating officer.
Okay. You satisfied, Mr. Hassan?
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. Yes, we may proceed.
Thank you. Mr. Shepard, I want to take you to the point where you were now observing the Mercedes-Benz V-Class, from what you said before, from a distance of about 50 to 60 meters in 8th Avenue.
Yes, my lord.
And at that point, you already then made contact with Captain Sigobela.
That's correct, ma'am.
Tell us now in your own words what then unfolded after you informed Captain Sigobela.
Once I informed Captain Sigobela that the vehicle is stationary on 8th Road, they informed me that they are very close to my location. Within seconds, they came past me as soon as the SABC vehicles passed me, they switched on blue lights and sirens.
Yes.
They approached the Mercedes V-Class, got out of their vehicles and pointed the occupants of the V-Class with firearms.
How many vehicles, either from SABC or other law enforcement agency, can you recall that you saw that in that exercise?
Probably 5 men.
Step by step, tell the court now, from your observation point, what did you see happening? They're approaching the V-Class. Step by step, please.
Yeah, they approached, like I said, they approached the vehicle with the rifles pointed towards the occupants. Members shouted out instructions like, put your hands up, hands up. I could also hear them yelling out instructions to open the door, to get out of the vehicle. Open the door and get out. Open the door and get out.
Was Captain Sigobela in this group?
Yes, ma'am. I could see his vehicle. Unfortunately, I'm not able to identify each member because the members have balaclavas or helmets on, unfortunately.
Can you recall whether you saw Captain Thobejane there at that stage?
I can recall seeing his vehicle that he was driving at that current point, ma'am.
You may proceed.
At that stage, the occupants of the V-Class got out of the vehicle. They pushed the doors open and they got out. Once the occupants of the vehicle was out, the passenger was taken to the back of the Viano, and behind the Viano he was laid down on the grass.
Yes.
The driver and the third gentleman on the sidewalk were also placed on the ground, right next to the Viano.
You were still seated in your motor vehicle at that stage?
That's correct, ma'am.
You may proceed.
At that point, it sounded like SABC were having a discussion or questioning them regarding the gentleman on the sidewalk, but I can't confirm what was asked. Captain Sigobela then called me and asked me to come down towards the Viano.
Yes.
Once I arrived, Captain Sibanyoni asked me to identify the occupants or to confirm if the occupants that have been detained by them are the same occupants that were in the I-20 earlier. I proceeded to the driver of the Viano, who identified himself as Musaka Kana, and I could confirm by the build of his face and the mustard long sleeve shirt that it was the same driver as I noticed in the I-20.
My Lord, with the court's permission, I will ask then that the three gentlemen, as accused number 1, 2, and 3, just stand in court. I see accused number 1 has already removed his mask as I requested. So, Mr. Shepherd, I just want you to have a look at the three gentlemen, if they stand up, and see if you recognize any one of them.
Yes, ma'am, I do. Only one of the gentleman to the far left.
As accused number 1.
Yes, ma'am.
Let the record show, my Lord, that accused number 1, Musaka Kana, as pointed out by the witness.
Mr. Kakana, just put your hands up. Hand up. Is that the gentleman?
That's the gentleman, my Lord.
Okay. Thank you, gentlemen. You may be seated.
You may proceed. What was your observations there? What further transpired?
As I approached and he identified himself, the members turned him over so that I could see his face, and I then confirmed that it is the suspect or the person I saw who was driving the I-20. And he was also complaining that the SABC members they must take it easy, if I can put it like that, because he recently was in hospital and he's sick.
What language was he speaking?
English, ma'am.
If you say they picked him up, what do you mean by that? Why would they be...
I think the evidence was turned him over.
Yeah. So it would appear that he was lying on his tummy, and they then turned him over so that the witness could take a look at his face.
I will correct my statement. You mentioned that he was turned over. Can you just explain that to the court?
My Lord, can I use that picture as an example? Because he was laying by the mag rim on his stomach. So when the members got to him, they locked arms with his arm and they just lifted him so I could see the front of his face and identify him that way.
So if you're saying he was lying next to the mag room, if I drag the cursor, would you say it's to the
Yes, ma'am.
front?
In that area, yes, ma'am.
There. So
Yes,
you're
ma'am.
pointing towards a point, if one would say, closest to the front of the vehicle.
Yes, ma'am.
So I want you to go to your photo number 27, and if we provide you with a red pen, can we just provide the witness with a red pen, please? If you can then just mark with an X on your photo album where accused number 1 was lying down and where he was turned over, and if it can then just be shown to the court and to all counsel.
Please show it to the accused as well.
Thank you, Mama. That was just about to request. Thank you.
Thank you. The witness has placed an asterisk, as the court noted, in an area just in front of the wheel rim that is on the grassy area outside this particular property and next to the driver's door of the Vienna. Do you
Agreed,
confirm
my
that,
lord.
Ms. Levy?
I'm in agreement, my lord.
Mr. Gissinkson?
Thank you.
Mr. Shepherd, you may continue. So you identified the accused, and he was still wearing that mustard top.
That's correct, ma'am.
And he was turned over so that you could see his front.
Yes, ma'am.
I want to refer you now in your album to specifically photo number 379. So what you see there, are you in agreement that that is the mustard colored top that you've already identified?
Yes, ma'am. That's correct. It's easily identifiable, the shirt, if you know what I mean. The color and yeah.
With the color.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, on this photo, and let's just go there for everyone's advantage. It's now been flighted on the screen. If you have regard to this photo, what is your observation with regard to the front of this photo? What do you see there?
It looks like blood stains on the photo, ma'am.
Now, if you think back on that day, from your observation, specifically there where you saw him now lying down on the ground with his front facing you, could you remember whether you saw any of that?
No, ma'am, there was no blood.
There was no blood.
There was no blood.
What was your observation in general with regard to the condition of the accused? Is there anything that comes to mind now?
Ma'am, I remember he was complaining that he's sick and he recently came out of hospital, and I believe he had a cough on him, like a phlegm cough.
After you've now seen him there, you say, yes, this is the man. What happened next?
From the driver, I went to identify the second occupant.
Yes.
Who identified himself as Michael Pule. I don't know if I'm going to pronounce his surname correctly, Utal or something in that line there.
Yes?
He was put on the grass just at the back of the Vianu on the sidewalk. I can make a mark where he was.
Yeah, please do so.
My Lord, perhaps if the prosecutor can assist, is this now again photo number 27?
Yes, my Lord, I've made a mark on 27 and on 28 because 28 is a rear picture of the vehicle and it'll give a better indication of where he was.
Okay. So in photograph number 28, you're indicating where the Mr. Michael Pule, inverted commas, Mutar was. Can you just, where's the court order? Can you just show counsel, please?
Thank you, my lord. You may proceed.
Sorry, the court wants to place on record. If one takes a look at photograph number 27, the witness marked a point X. If one looks at the picture on the left-hand side, on the grassy verge also towards the rear of the motor vehicle. If one looks at photograph number 28, that marking is on the grassy verge, slightly behind the rear bumper of the motor vehicle. Mr. Gissin, do you agree?
I agree, thank you.
Ms. Leroux?
I agree, my lord.
Thank you. Yes, you may proceed.
Thank you. What happened further after that?
Captain Chilubela asked me if I can confirm that if he was the occupant, the passenger in the I-20 that arrived at number 34, and I did confirm.
Yes.
From there, I proceeded back to my vehicle and I stood down from the scene.
And did you then proceed with your normal daily duties?
That's correct, ma'am.
Whilst you were there, was there at any stage any form of assault or duress placed on accused number 1?
No, ma'am.
Did you at any stage later that day return to that point?
Yes, ma'am. Around lunchtime, I brought the members refreshments, cool drinks and waters.
Can you recall when you returned now around about lunchtime, what was the position with accused number 1? Was he still there? Can you remember or not?
I can't remember, ma'am.
You can't remember.
I can confirm that LCRC were present and were processing the scene.
And I just want to confirm with you, for purposes of the trial within the trial, your evidence, you can still confirm your evidence that you received all information regarding the I-20 and the address from Captain Sigubela.
Yes, ma'am.
My Lord, just a moment, I just want to... Can you recall whether when the accused said that he is not well, he's sick, did he specify what was wrong with him?
Ma'am, he just said he was in hospital earlier, recently he was in hospital, and I believe it had something to do with his chest or his stomach.
Thank you, my Lord. I've got no further questions. I see that it is 3 o'clock. I can't imagine that my learned friend would now proceed with lengthy cross-examination. So I think it's maybe an opportune time to adjourn the matter to Monday.
Thank you, my lord. No objection. We can roll it over until Monday. My lord, with your indulgence, there is something that I'm instructed just simply to bring it to your attention, as it pleases you.
Just bear with me for 1 minute.
Thank you.
Yes, the witness may be seated if you so desire.
Thank you, my lord.
Mr. Hussain, sir?
With regards, it is my instructions that we have only received now quite recently from accused number 1 that Johannesburg Prison allows visitors apparently only between during weekdays, between business hours or certain restricted specified hours on weekdays. Now, as the accused are attending court Monday to Friday, they don't have the opportunity to have visitors. When management were approached, I am informed that the Department of Correctional Services said that it would be appropriate for visitors to come on Saturdays, subject to your lordship making such an order. So hence my instructions to request the Honourable Court to make such an order that they be allowed visitors. I'm actually only speaking on behalf of accused number 1, but I would imagine that Mr. Groevier on behalf of accused number 2 would speak for himself. So,
And that's what we like in this court, isn't it?
yes, correct, my lord. So, my lord, we humbly plead to the Honourable Court to make an order that they be allowed visitors for purposes of clothing and a variety of other reasons, that visitation of the people on Saturdays, as it pleases your lordship.
Is there anyone here from the Department of Correctional Services today? No. Mr. Professor?
May it pleases the court, my lord, indeed, my instructions from accused number 2 is the same. It is in order to get fresh clothing for next week and the like that they require this. May I perhaps suggest that it can be entered on the J7, just a note that they be allowed visitation on the weekend, as visitation on weekends are normally restricted only to sentenced persons.
Do you think, Mr. Provier, that an endorsement of the J7 would have the same force and effect as a court order?
Or perhaps the only way of communicating at this stage with the prison is via the detention warrant, and if an order can just also be included with the J7 or written on the J7, then I suppose that would be the more
Do you want perhaps maybe, so I do understand you to say that the J7 be endorsed, and in addition thereto the court just grant an order?
Yes, indeed, sir.
Because the challenge I think your clients will face is that the question will be raised, but we're not going to accept the J7. What's on the J7? We know from our experience. So I'm happy to grant you an order to that effect.
Thank you, my lord.
Thank you, indebted.
My lord, on the same issue, may I seek permission to approach accused number 3?
Yes, yes, you may.
My lord, my instructions are equally to request that the court order be made on behalf of accused number 3 for him to have access to visitation throughout the trial on Saturdays, because obviously on the court days he will be here and he will not have access to his visitors. Let's court please.
I suppose you want friends and family to be
Correct.
able to have access to them.
Yes.
Good. The evidence in chief of the state has come to an end, which now brings us to the point of the cross-examination of the witness, Mr. Shepard. However, due to the lateness in the day, this court has been requested that it would be most opportune and prudent in the circumstances that the matter be rolled over for continuation of the commencement of the cross-examination of the witness on Monday, when the matter will then resume. There is a matter that has been raised with this court, and that is by counsel for accused number 1, the legal representative of accused number 2, and the legal representative of accused number 3, that there appears to be a specific challenge for the 3 accused persons who are in custody, to the extent that whilst they are attending court on a daily basis, they are not enjoying the benefit of having any visitation rights accorded to them, whereby friends and family have access to them in relation to their right to be visited, also to obtain personal effects which they are entitled to for the purposes and the duration of this trial. The court has listened carefully to Mr. Khassam, who has indicated that having engaged the Department of Correctional Services, he was informed and advised that they would accede to such a request for and on behalf of the accused if this court were to apply its mind to the application and, if necessary, to grant the appropriate relief to the accused persons, and that they will then be bound by that order of this court. Having listened carefully to the submissions made by counsel, but I think before I proceed, just in the interests of justice and in the spirit of the Audi Altram Partem rule, I did not give Ms. Leroux the opportunity to make a submission to the court. Let me hear you before I make the order.
I have no objection, my lord.
Thank you. Having listened carefully to the submissions made by counsel for accused number 1, the legal representatives of accused number 2 and 3, and having considered this matter, the following order is made. The accused may rise. 1. All the accused may rise. Thank you. Your matter is then postponed back to the High Court of South Africa, Gauteng Division, Johannesburg, sitting here in court number 4F to Monday, the 27th day of July 2026 at 10:00 hours or soon thereafter, as the matter shall be heard in court number 4F for trial. Accused number 1, 2, and 3, gentlemen, you are in custody. You shall remain in custody until then. Accused number 4 and 5, ladies, you are on bail. Your bail is extended according to the same conditions as previously. 2. The Department of Correctional Services is hereby ordered to facilitate the visitation of accused 1, accused 2, and accused number 3 by friends and family on a Saturday for the duration of the trial, having due regards to the rules and regulations of the Department of Correctional Services. 3. The State Witness, Mr. C.F. Shepard, you are warned to please return to the High Court of South Africa, Gauteng Division, Johannesburg, on Monday, the 27th day of July 2026 at 10:00 hours in order for us to commence the cross-examination. I normally do postpone the matter for 09 hours 30, so you can be here at 09 hours 30, but we'll commence at 10:00 hours, and for you to remain in attendance. Failure for you to return and or to remain in attendance may result in the state applying for a warrant. Good. Thank you most kindly. You are excused. The accused may then stand down. Counsel, thank you so much. Have a wonderful weekend. We shall see you on Monday.
Thank you, my lord.
Good, thank you. The court, having no further order of business, is then going to take the agenda. Thank you.